Everyone, this is Dr. Mihir Shah once again with another video. This is the part 2 of a video series based on how to solve cash flow problem sums under the subject financial reporting and analysis, also known as FRA. Again, a very important video for all the TYBBI Sem V student. This is the second video. In this we are going to solve another problem sum. The format and the problems, a small revision will be done on the format in detail. The previous video may we have already seen that, so in this a small revision of the format, and then we are going to start with that problem sum, okay, a new problem sum. So let us see again what type of problem sum is given in this question and how to solve that particular sum. Chalo. Okay, let us see how to solve this particular sum. I'll read out the question once. It is given that the summary of the balance sheet of Dinesh Limited are given. They are given you the liabilities 2013, 2014, asset 2013 and 14. And they are given you certain additional information stating that during the year ended 31st March, depreciation of 16,000 and 20,000 has been charged on land and building and plant and machinery. Interim dividend of 15,000 was paid, and during the year machine having book value 16,000 were sold for 14,000. Okay, such kind of adjustments are given. So whenever you get a question based on cash flow, the very first thing we note down the format. Okay, cash flow from operating activity, under that we have net profit and loss, adjust cash items. The first we have that operating ke andar, so adjust non-cash items and adjust working capital. That will give you cash generated from operations, less tax will give you all cash flow from operating activity. Second is cash flow from investing activity. Third is financial, that gives you net increase and decrease, and then we add the opening balance and we'll get the closing balance. Now remember the format and the rules that we have to solve, we have to consider while solving cash flow. In the previous video we have already discussed all those rules and all. Okay, so we're going to now directly start with the sum. Remember, in non-cash we have all the P&L expenses and income. Just working capital is a current asset and current liability. We use the short form of LAL, that is increase and decrease in liability and asset based, add and less. Under investment we have purchase and sale of fixed asset. Under finance we have anything related to equity share, debentures and preference shares. Okay, so we go as per the stepwise. I had already told you, okay, in order to solve cash flow, the very first thing is we need to start with adjust working capital. Now remember, in adjust working capital mein the rules, okay, remember we need to add LA, that is lal. I'll just note down here: increase in liability, decrease in asset, increase in asset, decrease in liability. So add and less, that is only for our remembrance. Okay, chalo. So according to the question, now if you look in the question carefully, it is given. Now we look on the asset side. Okay, first goodwill is goodwill doesn't come under current asset, to ignore that. Land and building, not current asset. Plant and machinery, not a current. Stock, yes, it is a current asset. Stock ka value given is for the year 2013 is 84,000, and in 2014 it is 1,06,000. So there has been an increase in current asset. Okay, current asset has been increased, so the difference, we'll take the difference. The value of stock was 1,06,000 and 84. So on our calculator we will take 1,06,000 minus 84,000, so we get 22,000 ka difference. Current asset has been increased, current assets have increased, asset has increased. Okay, from 84 it's become 1,06,000. So increase in asset formula is we have to less, so I'll write a less increase in current asset, increase in stock, so negative 22,000. Next is debtors. It was 1,80,000, now it's become 1,56,000. From 1,80,000 it has become 1,56,000. So difference again 1,80,000 from the calci minus 1,56,000. The difference comes to 24,000. It is decrease in asset. Decrease in asset we need to add. So add decrease in debtors. The amount is 24,000, so positive 24. Next we have advance income tax. Advance income tax does not come under current asset, so ignore that. Next is Bill receivable, yes, that will come. From 16,000 it has become 24,000. So 8,000 ka increase. So increase in current asset is less. So less increase in bill receivable amount is 8,000. So 8,000 becomes negative. Next is prepaid expense. Yes, it's again in current asset. From 12,000 it's become 8,000. So there's a decrease in prepaid asset. Decrease in asset is add. So add decrease in prepaid expense. Okay, from the question 12 it's become 8. So 4,000 ka add. Okay, next is cash in hand doesn't come here. Profit and loss does not come here. So we come to the liability side now. Liability में equity, general reserve, profit and loss, debentures, they don't appear here. Creditor, yes, it's a current liability. From 1,14,000 it's become to 92,000. So there's a decrease. So we on the cal see 1,14,000 minus 92,000. So there's a decrease of liability by 22,000. So decrease in liability is less. So less decrease in creditors 22,000. Okay, next is bills payable. From 60 it has become 12. Again, that's a decrease in liability. From 60 it's become 12. So negative 48,000. Right here, less decrease in bills payable negative 48,000. So there are 2 positive and 4 negative values here. Okay, after that, provision for income tax and proposed dividend is not a part of the current asset under working capital adjustment. So that's it. Nothing beyond that is available under adjust working capital. That is step number 1. Always start the sum with adjust working capital. Next, we note down the opening and the closing balances of cash bank. So they are giving you cash in hand. Opening is 20,000 and the closing is 8,000. So and it is given cash in hand. So we have cash balance. Opening is 20,000. Okay, opening is 20,000. There's no bank, so I write this 20,000 outside. Okay, closing is 8,000. So that's our 8,000. So we have to get 8,000 as our final answer. Okay. So that was step number 1. First, working capital. Second, we note down the opening and closing balances. Now, third step, we start with the adjustment. Very, very important part. Okay. Now, adjustment, we read the first adjustment. During the year ended, depreciation of 16,020 have been charged on land and building and plant and machinery. Land and building, plant and machinery, both things are there in the question. So, the rule was simple. If whenever adjustments are given and anything related to items which are there in the question, we will prepare an account for it, otherwise direct journal entry. So I take a rough sheet now here. Okay, it is given 16,000 as a debt on land and building. So I'll make a rough account for land and building. I'll write here land and building. Now land and building is an asset, so the opening balance will be on the 2 side. So 2 opening balance. Now land and building ka opening is 1,60,000. The closing balance is 1,80,000. And the depreciation charge, so it is by debt. The amount of debt charge will be 16,000. Depreciation is always on the buy side. Okay. Okay. After that, just read ahead if anything else is given on land and building. The second adjustment is based on interim dividend, and third is again based on machinery. So land and building, that's it. There's nothing else remaining here. So we tally the account. Okay, depreciation is an adjustment. Okay, so there will be 2 effects of that, and the closing balance now what we'll get will be called as to cash. That is the balance. Okay, whenever there is debit balance, remember we are going to purchase something. Okay, now we tally it. This is 1,96,000. So 1,96,000. So we get a difference of 36,000. So whenever you have a debit side balance, it means you have purchased something here. Okay, land and building has been purchased. So now 2 effects. Let us see what are the effects here. Debt was in adjustment, so it will have 2 effects here. Number 1, okay, it's already come in the account. Second, it's an expense, so it will appear in a non-cash adjustment. Okay, so under adjust non-cash, maybe I'll write first thing, dip on depreciation on of land and building. The amount is 16,000. Okay, secondly, the balance, okay, 36,000 we have purchased. Okay, there's an increase, that the cash is going on, increase in asset, we have purchased another one. So whenever you purchase anything, it comes in investing activity. Remember, cash coming in add, cash going out less. Here in this case the money is going out, so it will be less. So less land and building purchase, so it will be negative 36,000. Okay, so with that the land and building ka, the effects are done. Next was, there was a depreciation on plant and machinery as well. So again we will make a rough account for plant and machinery in the same order. Okay, so I'll write here plant and machinery. Now plant and machinery again is an asset, so the opening balance will be on the debit side. Opening is 80,000 and closing of plant and machinery is 2 lakhs, and they have given you debt. The debt is 20,000. Okay, normal posting, the way we posted for land and building, I've just posted those values there. Now there's one more adjustment while we went through. There was a third adjustment which had something to do with machinery. It's given that during the year, machinery having book value 16,000 was sold for 14,000. Now remember, something for 16 was sold for 14. It means you're sold for 14,000, incurring a loss of 2,000 rupees. So on the buy side, by cash, you're sold it for 14,000, because of which you're having a loss. So by profit and loss, 2,000 ka loss was there. Okay, so the whole thing turns to 16k, but it comes on the buy side. So remember, debit mein you purchase, credit mein you sell. Okay, so that's it, nothing else is mentioned in this. We tally this part, so this becomes 2 lakh 30 2 lakh 20 2 lakh 36,000. From 2 lakh 36,000, difference will come here, so it will be 2 cash bank. Okay, 2 lakh 36 minus 80,000 is 1 lakh 56,000. Now remember, in asset account, whenever you have 2 cash bank, matlab you have purchased again here. Okay, so now let us see what are the posting that we have to do here. First of all, that asset which you have sold for 16,000 ka stuff, you have sold for 14,000. So two things are happening there. First, you're incurring a loss of 2,000. Loss comes under non-adjust, and the cash which you receive because we sold will come in the investing activity. So I'll write in investing because money is coming in. So I'll write here add sale of machine. Sale of machine came to 14,000 rupees. So that's positive, money coming in. And P&L loss 2,000 ka, there's a loss. So loss on sale. So we write here loss on sale of machine 2,000. Okay, and one more, that was on this part. And then when the balancing figure, we got 1,56,000 as cash. That means we have purchased another machinery. So when you purchase, money is going out, so less purchase of machinery 1,56,000. So that's less 1,56,000. Okay, so those were the two important working notes or adjustment that was there in the question. Next, during the year, the second adjustment was pending. An interim dividend of 15,000 was paid during the year. So whenever I pay interim dividend, two things. It's first of all, it's my expense. Okay, all expenses we add. Secondly, it's a financing activity, so it will get less. Money is going out, so it will get less from financial activities. So chalo, two effects. Number one, I write interim dividend paid, since it's my expense. Amount is 15,000, and the moment I pay, cash is going out, so less interim dividend negative 15,000. Okay. So now see, step number 1, working capital done. Step number 2, the opening and closing balance done. Step number 3, all the adjustment done. Now we just go through one by one itineraries which are there in the question, and we'll try to see what are the effects available of them. Okay. Okay, one more thing was missed out, the depreciation. See, I wrote in dep on land and buildings, so dep on machinery was pending. So we'll just note down that first. So dep on machinery, 20,000. Okay, so now let us see one by one. First is goodwill. The very first thing on the asset side. Start always with the asset side. Asset, my first thing is goodwill. Goodwill was 1,10,000 and it's become 90,000. Remember, general reserve and goodwill. The increase and decrease will always come in non-cash or non-cash adjustment. Okay, goodwill was 1,10,000 and now it's become 90,000. So there's a written off value, like a depreciation. You can see it's been written off by 20,000. So again, it's debit side written off. So I'll write here goodwill written off. It has been written off by 20,000. So I write here 20,000. Land and building, plant and machinery is done. Those adjustments are already done, so nothing to write here. Next is stock. Okay, already done. Debtors done. Advance income tax. Okay, that there is something to do with advance income tax. Okay, we'll see that. Receivable, bill receivable is done. Prepaid is done. Cash is done, and then P&L comes in the picture. Okay, so first, advance income tax. Now in the question, check if there is any proposed provision for income tax or any adjustment related to income tax. So there were no adjustment related to income tax. So remember, when no adjustments are there, when advance income tax and provision for tax is given, provision goes under the non-cash item. So I'm writing here provision for tax. Question is given as 50,000. And advance income tax, meaning income tax is already been paid. So if it is paid, we'll write under tax. On the asset side, again, advance income tax is 40,000. So we consider whenever advance income tax is given, it means we have already paid the income tax amount to rupees 50. On the asset side is given advance income tax as 40,000. So we'll take that as 40,000. Okay, less 40,000. I'll put that on the outer column only. Okay, less 40,000. Okay, chalo. So and then last thing was profit and loss. Now this is the profit and loss which is on the asset side, meaning it is a loss. And on the credit side also they have given you a P&L which is a profit of 58,000. Now remember, while solving the P&L, it is always closing minus opening. So closing was 58,000 minus opening is negative 12,000. So it will become 58 minus 12. So 58 minus will become plus. So 58 plus 12, that will become 70,000. Okay, so how did I get that? That will be 58,000 minus 12,000. So plus and minus become plus. We added, we got 70,000. So all the asset sides are done. Now we come to the liability side. Equity share, number 1. It was 3 lakh, it became 5 lakh. So there's an increase in the value of equity share. We have issued. The moment we have issued, money is coming in. So add issue of equity share. So from 3 it became 5. So 2 lakh ka increase. Money coming in. Okay, next is general reserve. It was nothing and it became 60,000. So 0 to 60. So there has been a transfer into reserves. Okay, so general reserve has been transferred. So I'll write here GR transfer 60,000 positive. Okay, P&L is done. Debenture, it was 2 lakh and it became 0. So whenever the entire debenture value has gone 0, it meaning we have redeemed them. So redeem less debenture has been redeemed. It became 0 from 2 lakhs. So 2 lakh has been gone. Money has gone 2 lakhs. Creditors have been done. Bills payable has been done. Provision for income tax has been noted down. So only proposed dividend, all proposals comes here. So I'm writing here proposed Okay. Proposed dividend, the amount comes to 40,000. Okay, so with that, whatever things are available in the question, we have posted all of them down. So let's start adding them and subtracting them according to what they are. So first we'll add up all the non-cash. So we have 16,000 plus 2,000 plus 15,000 plus 20,000 plus another 20,000 plus 50,000, 60,000 plus 40,000. Okay, so that comes to 2,23,000. Okay, now we check the adjust capital. So we have two positive and the remaining is all negative. So 24,000 we take the positive plus 4,000 minus 22,000 minus 8,000 minus 22,000 again and minus 48,000. So I get a negative 72,000. So now 70 plus 2,23,000 minus 72 will give you cash generated from operation. So it is 70,000 plus 2,23,000 minus 72,000, which comes to 2,21,000. So 2,21,000 minus tax 40,000 comes to 1,81,000. Okay, so that was cash flow from operations. The next we start with the investing. So it was negative 36,000. So we take the positive, 14,000 is positive, minus 36,000 minus 1,56,000. So we get negative 1,78,000. Negative 1,78,000. Same case is here. 2 lakh and 2 lakh gets cut off, so it's only negative 15,000 remaining. So finally, cash from operating 1,81,000 minus 1,78,000 minus 15,000. I get negative 12,000. So there's net decrease in cash, negative 12,000. Negative 12 plus positive 20 gives you final answer as positive 8,000. And with that, the entire sum gets tallied. So this is how you'll have to solve this particular sum based on cash flow. Okay. So this was the second problem sum that we have solved in the video series based on the problem sum based on cash flow. Okay. So I hope everyone have understood this. Follow the similar step. First working capital, second the balances, third the adjustment, fourth the profits and loss, fifth whatever is remaining. And with that we will be able to solve any kind of sum. Okay. Chalo, stay tuned for further videos. With that we will be ending this video. I hope everyone have understood it. Chalo, thank you.